Welcome to Fly Nubian Money, where we help you master your mindset and maximize your money. Welcome to Fly Nubian Money, where we help you master your mindset and maximize your money. I am your host, Lala Key, international real estate agent. And today, y'all, we unpacking a hard truth. Rent and mortgages in America have gotten so high that some of us are being forced onto the streets. Over 770,000 people experienced homelessness in 2024, and Black families are feeling the brunt of it. With everything we've already had to endure in this country, from racism to redlining, is it still worth the fight just to barely survive here? Or is there peace and affordability and even paradise waiting for us on the other side beyond America's borders? Today, we're talking about the rent crisis and mental strain of just trying to stay afloat, and why some Black families are thinking outside of the country to secure a better future. Listen, y'all, I've got a royal court today on this Blackout Friday. You know what we do on Fridays. I hope y'all are not shopping where you shouldn't be shopping, where they're not supporting us. We're here to help entertain you. So look at all this, okay? We got all these beautiful people here. I've got Marlo, TV film producer. We have Joe Corley, licensed therapist and mental wellness coach and educator. And we have Nichole Shelton, attorney, and she's got some tax information for you today. Listen, everybody, this is always a big topic when something comes out or something doesn't look right in our government. Right? Everybody talks about, I'm leaving this place. Okay. So I want to know, just a quick answer, what your quick thought is. And this goes also to our viewership. Okay. If you can choose anywhere that you would like to live outside of the United States, I would love to hear your comments. My question to you, panel, is, have you ever thought about moving abroad? I'm going to start with you, Marlo.
I've definitely considered living abroad, but I have not done more than consider it. It's never been more than a thought. I never did the research. I never looked into countries that I'm compatible with, but the thought has certainly crossed my mind before. And I have a few friends that have moved abroad, so I think about it more frequently now than before.
Interesting. What about you, Joe?
Every day. I think about it every day. I would leave now.
Do you for real? You do?
Yeah. I would leave now if I could. I mean, I'm married, so I had to smooth that out with my wife, and basically I've got her to agree to it. As long as I put her near some water, she's good. But yeah, every day I'm going to leave.
All right, I love that statement. How about you, Nichole?
I think I've already cheated. I turned 21 in Ghana, West Africa. I actually had the opportunity in undergrad, the summer of my senior year, to go live with a family in Accra, West Africa. Oh my God, I loved it. And ever since then, I've always thought that I'm going to go back. I'm going to move. Things in life have happened. So now there's some more teaching or trying to convince the husband. But just this week, we were looking at a few places like Colombia.
Nice. Very nice. We've got all different answers. So let's see what some people are saying in our viewership family. Where would you, I want to hear where y'all would think about moving to. We have a Sharif that says Mexico, South Africa, or Portugal. Hey, those are really great countries. I'm going to tell you, you are not stuck. I can't tell you enough. I want to just jump up and down with pom-poms. You are not stuck where you are. Only reason you are stuck is your own mind. You've got to get out of your own way. Now, I've asked everybody else. My main country is Portugal. Most of you guys who follow us know that I am back and forth from Portugal, and I sell in Portugal. So I have direct experience with helping people move to another country such as Portugal, which is one of the easiest gateways to get to. But I do want to check out this video because there's a direct correlation between homelessness and living happy and being able to move abroad. So let's check this video out.
Homelessness in America reached record high numbers earlier this year. A government report out today reveals that last January, the number of people experiencing homelessness shot up by 18% to roughly 770,000 as counted on a single night. The annual survey published by the Department of Housing and Urban Development pointed to a list of intensifying economic problems, rising housing costs, and the migrant influx in some cities among them. To understand more about what's behind this rise, I'm joined by Sean Donovan, CEO and President of Enterprise Community Partners and former Secretary of the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development. Sean, this is an eye-popping report in many ways. It's about where things stood earlier this year, and I want to start with one particular dynamic, the role of the migrant crisis. How and where did that affect homelessness in this country?
Well, Lisa, first of all, thank you for having me on. And it is tragic news, the largest increase we've ever seen in homelessness since we started recording these numbers. And specifically to your question, there's certainly no question that the rise in the number of migrant families in the U.S. did contribute to this, particularly in some of the places where we saw the biggest increases, places like New York City or Massachusetts, Chicago, Denver. But I think what's really stunning about these numbers is how broad the challenge is. We saw 18 states reach record levels, including places like Kansas, Alaska, Utah, places, Idaho is another one, places where there isn't a significant influx of migrants. And so there's a much bigger story here about record levels of housing costs, both for owning and renting, higher than somebody like me who's been doing this for a long time, for 30 years. I've never seen the affordable housing crisis this bad.
I can directly tell you that that is the truth. I've watched it before my very eyes in Los Angeles, California, when we first moved down to San Pedro, which was right across the river or the ocean from Long Beach. Before the pandemic, I was walking every day, was losing the weight and walking every day, 5-6 miles, right? As that COVID hit and as everything else happened, people were losing their places. I could no longer walk the same streets because I couldn't even get down the same roads because the tent housing communities were so very large. Now, before we dig into this, I have to really dig into the fact that our communities are the first ones that are being hit by this. So I want to check out a couple of these stats and then I want to get into this conversation. Listen, this is very disturbing for me. It makes me very upset. It bothers me to my core. And as soon as this banner goes off, I'll be able to read the first one. Over 770,000 people experienced homelessness in the United States in 2024. That is the highest since HUD began tracking in 2007. Now that's overall, okay? But now check this out. Black Americans represent nearly 40% of the homeless population, despite being only 13% of the general U.S. population. That is extremely high. These numbers are very alarming. And I dare to say that it's higher. The number of people experiencing homelessness has increased by 18% in just 1 year. Y'all, in the meantime, BlackRock is buying up everything and communities. So I would like to hear some of my panel's thoughts on these numbers. Nichole, why do you think Black Americans should consider dual citizenship when we are seeing these numbers like this, where they could take their income that they have now and live a little more comfortably in a different country?
I had an expat friend of mine the other day showing me just a real estate site. And I commented to him that it reminded me of when I was in Africa, because like one of our dollars was, compared to, I think it was like 5,800 of theirs. And while it wasn't one to one, it's still one of my dollars went so much further there. And so where we would be living in poverty here or homeless here, if you were able to take your bank account and what you have in it, you can live a decent life overseas. And even if it's go there 6 months, come back. Some people don't even realize, and I've realized as a newly certified tax advisor, is there's tax incentives to have dual citizenship. There's also tax incentives even if you just go to Puerto Rico that I didn't realize. They want, people overseas, countries overseas, they want our dollars. They want us to be there. So why wouldn't we want to go where we're wanted?
Exactly. I totally agree with that. Marlo, I want to ask you this, and then we're going to take a quick break. Because what Nichole said, I want to piggyback on that. White Americans have known this for years. The elite has known this for many, many years. They have banked on this. They have used it. Many are dual citizens. They know the benefits of this. So do you think as our Black community, are we brainwashed into thinking that America is the only place that there is to thrive?
I don't know about brainwash. I just don't know if we have the exposure to know where else to go, right? There definitely is a big gap between African Americans and Africans, right? Where there is whatever we have between us that is colonialism and the understanding gap. But I think that it really is just about access and imagination. I know a lot of military families, once they go and branch out, they relocate overseas or they don't leave when it's time for retirement. So I think it just is a matter of what information you have access to and what understanding that you have of the greater world that helps your imagination to be able to visualize you somewhere else.
I agree. And we're actually going to dig into that a little bit more. We're going to take a quick break and we will be right back. But I still want to hear what y'all comments are. I only see a couple people answering where listen, if there was no limitation, where would you live? We'll be right back.
Woo! It's a good show right here. But I'm biased. If you are just tuning in, you are watching Fly Nubian Money, where we help you master your mindset and maximize your money. My name is Tiara Williams. I'm also known as Miss Black Hollywood, and I'm the proud producer of this show because it is lit. If you want to receive notifications for when we go live Monday through Friday, 1 to 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. All you have to do is text the word Queens to 87948. That's Queens to 87948. That's QUEENS to 87948. Also, if you want to grow your money and not blow your money, all you have to do is go to flynubianmoney.com. There's all kinds of resources, there's courses, there's free giveaways. There's just no reason to be broke in 2025. All you have to do is go to flynubianmoney.com. Obviously, you don't want to be entertained here. You want to know enough to grow. Wait, I need to put that on a shirt. You got to know to grow. Got to know to grow. So know and grow with flynubianmoney.com.
You know what to do, know and grow, and we glow on top of that too. You know that's what we do. We help you to build your financial household. Listen, you got your assignment and you don't want to miss any shows today, so go ahead and put that information in and get your signups. Joe, I want to talk to you about the mental status of people. We know the Black community and minorities are considered minorities. I don't think nobody's a minority of nothing. We're all equal. But in the face of the United States of America, we are put into classes and situations with so much pressure of racism and separatism and things of that nature. How do you think people would perceive living in other countries away from that?
Yeah, I think that part of it will be the feeling of like secured safety. So when we live in America, we're constantly on hypervigilance, right? We always have to look over our shoulder. We're always stressed, and that's just it's a natural state for us here in America. I mean, let's just be real, because we're getting priced out of everything. The system is designed to keep us economically oppressed, and it's doing its job. So I mean, I'm not making stuff up here. You can do your own research, argue with your mama if you want to, but I mean, these are facts. Like it's designed to keep us down. So we are constantly in a state of hypervigilance, and to go to another place where you have to eventually adjust to not having to feel that way. Okay, your dollars are going further, and they're not coming with that black tax that they come with here. There are places in the world where that exists, where you don't get taxed for being black. There's places that are actually in existence that happens. But like I said, I mean, like I believe it was Marlo and Nichole said. I mean, it's just the lie or the belief that that couldn't possibly exist for us. Being told that over and over again, getting up in the morning and giving your Pledge of Allegiance and all that other thing that you did for your entire childhood. All a lie, man. All a lie.
Y'all hear me say this all the time, and I mean it from the bottom of my heart, is that America was never built on any kind of foundation that was worth having. Y'all want to keep going back to what made America great. There was no America great for any of us. And so I don't know what period of time you want to go back to, but the foundation itself was on sinking sand. So I am not surprised that it only took 200 and something years to start showing the major cracks that we're seeing now. We're not even in cracking motion. We're actually in an earthquake. So Nichole, I know you've lived abroad and you have some other things that you would like to share with us. So I want to make sure that I hit you. Then we got another video I want y'all to check out. But Nichole, what you got to say to us?
I think it's just like the commercial says. She said you got to know to grow. No, you got to know to go. There's the parable about the animal that was tricked into thinking it couldn't go anywhere, or the eagle was tricked into thinking it was a chicken and it couldn't fly. So it bought into it. It stayed there until one day it saw another eagle and was like, wait a minute, I can fly. Oh, I'm out here. I'm out of here. You got to know. What I realized when I went to West Africa to stay for that summer, before I left, people who look like me were asking, oh my God, are they going to have shoes on? Are there going to be monkeys everywhere? Are you going to be sleeping on the floor? No, I lived in a 7-room, 7-bathroom house. There was a guy who opened the gate when you pulled into the estate. We were driven around in luxury cars. I was with a man who was a doctor and his wife who owned schools. These were educated, well-to-do, spoke English perfectly. I mean, but they have us trained to think, especially in the Black community, that Africa is substandard, and that because Africa was substandard, we weren't. When we know that was the mother of civilization and science, it wasn't them, it was what they took from us. So once you know, you do better. So you got to start talking to expats and finding places where you can get that knowledge so we can go. Don't let them keep you stupid. Because guess what? Those 5-star hotels in Ghana, West Africa, they were filled with a whole bunch of them on vacation with their families in the 5-star hotels and on their beaches and eating their food while they're convincing you that there was nothing to see over there. Don't look over there. We're the greatest.
And they wouldn't be over there, darling, if they didn't know that they had all the resources. A matter of fact, I will throw this in here. There are many African areas now that are not allowing Americans to come anymore. Okay, so excuse my French, y'all. Sometimes the little But the so-called shithole countries are not really shithole countries. They just don't want you to be there. We also had a couple people comment. Double A, who is here with us all the time. We love you, Double A. She says Japan, Japan, Japan. I love it there. Also Australia. Love it there too. And for the unknown, South Africa. And then Tamara said, my own country of Jamaica and Africa, doing research to live there right now. Listen, guys, so one of the things people are a little concerned about is how much does it cost to live in different countries? Well, it costs different things in different countries. But we have this video here that will help you pick at least 5. So check this out.
I don't know if you heard, but everybody's escaping America. Here are the top 5 countries that American expats are ending up in. If you didn't know, now you know. Mexico is one of the places people have chosen to settle down. With Mexico's low cost of living and beautiful weather, people have chosen this as their new home. Mexico ranks very high because it is a country that's easy to settle in. It's very close to the United States, just in case American expats do want to head back. The cost of living is low, and people seem to have a very fulfilling lifestyle there. And it also could be the trips to Cancun. Next on the list, Portugal. Portugal is a place that leaves people feeling very welcome, and they love the overall quality of life. And the cost of living is something that probably sells them every time. And while we're still on the topic of Europe, let's talk about Spain. Spain, yeah. As a person who lived in Madrid, I can definitely agree. Spain has a long list of things that attracts you. The nightlife, work-life balance, the climate, and the culture. And one of the best feelings is that people say that they feel at home in Spain. Moving on, Indonesia. We've all heard of Bali. Bali is a place that a lot of expats go to due to the very low cost of living. If you do stay in Bali, Indonesia, and you're living off of an American income, you'll probably have one of the best lives here, as your money will go a very long way. As well as that, the weather is to die for. And the culture and the animals and all the things that you'll see every day is something that you'll never get tired of waking up to. And last on the list, Pura Vida, Costa Rica. I was surprised at this, but people love Costa Rica due to the low cost of living and the beautiful weather. As well as that, they have a very rich culture and history that you have to see. Americans are picking up selling their cars, their houses, they're selling everything.
And you can too. It's a matter of what I told you earlier. Get out of your own head. Listen, Marlo, I want to tap into that a little bit. I mean, you heard her say that you can live for a little bit less in these places. What do you think is holding people back the most in their mental capacity of moving forward with this?
I mean, I think it's really doing the research, right? If you are going to move, this is not a haphazard decision, right? As we are talking about this, I want people to understand going to a foreign country, right? Sometimes you got to check your Americanism. Everybody is not ready to do that. Everybody is not ready to go and settle into a culture. Some people want to go and take over a culture, right? We see the vacationers with the bad behavior all the time. So I say the first thing is you got to find a place that's compatible with you. I have a cousin who was a military contractor. She now lives in Tanzania. Before that, she lived all over East Africa, just different countries. Ethiopia. She lived in Somalia for a little while. She stayed in the Sudan for a little while. She figured out where her place was on that continent, right? After doing a lot of recycling and research. I know somebody who just recently moved to Panama. I have another friend who he and his family moved to South Africa. So people are making the move. I know a lot of New Orleanians who have places in Ghana and they go back and forth. So that people are doing it, but I think that you have to research, right? You have to decide where you're going, what's the government like. The money is one thing, but what happens when you get there, right? Do you have a big plush retirement that you're going to sit on? How will you work? How will you earn a living? Do you have a business? Are there any things that need to be done in terms of you crossing your business overseas, right? I think there's a lot of just research that people need to do. And if people don't have businesses, where will you work? There's a lot of reality checking that has to be done and a lot of research. So whatever people choose to do, like I said, I've definitely thought about it, but it's not something that you could just do haphazardly. People are like, well, move to Canada. Okay, but you don't like the cold. So that sounds crazy. So, just do the research. Wherever you want to go, just ask the people, go visit, talk to locals, right? Get out of your cabana that's so nice, right? And you think that that's the whole island. Go venture out into the island and make sure that that's where you want to be if you're going to call it home.
I always tell people you must do more than one exploratory visit. Everyone who has ever been interested in moving to Portugal, I tell them, don't you just come here and then go to the tourist sites. What you need to do is go to the smaller villages. You need to be over here for a couple of weeks. If you can stay a month, but do not stay where all the expats are. Because what you need to do is to put your American away. Don't bring your Americanism somewhere else because it's not America. You now are an immigrant. So as much as you don't want to admit that, you are when you're moving away. So put it away. Now
But
listen,
that's the fun part. That's the fun
to me,
part.
that's the fun part. I love it. I absolutely love it. And when you show interest in a country and you learn even just a little bit of their language, they love it and they will help you to thrive in that. Now, are you going to face some people who are just assholes? Baby, there's assholes all over the world. Don't matter. But for the most part, you're going to get that everywhere, but not so much like in certain countries. I do want to address something with you, Joe, about this comment that's kind of titillazing me here. Mr. Joe, visual exec, says, I just don't believe running away from obstacles solves the obstacle. Do you see wanting a better life in a different country as an obstacle?
No, we had this mentality that like it's somehow kind of like escapism. And that's really, it's not escapism, it's actually strategy. You know what I mean? Like when you, if you, I mean, it's fine to want to move around obstacles. Like it's not weakening you or making you less than. If you decide, okay, the best strategy for me to have a peaceful existence is to get out of this country because I can't live the life that I want to live in the country that I'm currently in. I do understand that mentality, and I've heard that many times before. But like I say, you have to really release that idea that it's somehow some form of escapism. It's not. It's really just a means to a peaceful end in some people's mind. This could be part of whatever your overall mission is for your life. You have to really internalize what it is that you want to do and how you want to live and what's authentic to you, and then make the best decision for yourself. For me, listen, I don't want to fight for the rest of my life with these people. I just do not. All right. I don't want to do it. So I'm moving around. I'm going through the obstacle. Okay, well, this is where it is. I'm gonna go through it and go somewhere else where this doesn't exist for me because I don't want to spend my energy and time on this mess. I'd rather spend my time loving my family and living in my purpose.
Living in my purpose. Oh, that is so me now. I'm telling you, these last few years of mine, these last 3 years of mine have been, you know what? To be damn, devil. I'm not going down a lane that I'm not supposed to be in. Sometimes it takes you a long time to wake up from that. I'm 55 years old. I'm living my best life right now. And it's because I've opened my mind and I stopped caring about what other people are saying or doing or anything else. You don't get to dictate my life. I get to dictate my own. You're either going to love me, you're either going to hate me, one of the two. But let's check out a couple of these steps that we have.
We didn't ask for oppression.
Exactly.
Ask for it. So that's what I'm just saying.
I totally agree.
Okay.
And one of the things, like part of this oppression is even trying to find somewhere decent to live. Wherever we go, is there always a problem? So the median rent in the U.S. has increased 26% from 2020 to 2024. Y'all, this is no joke. Cost of living is gone up, but the pay ain't going up with it. The cost of living in many African, Latin American, and Southeast Asian countries is up to 60% lower than the United States of America. Let me tell you a couple for Portugal. Portugal rent is approximately 52.8% cheaper than the United States of America. Groceries are roughly 75.4% less in Portugal. And basic utilities average around 118 a month for an 85 square meter apartment. That's a pretty good size daggone apartment. All right. We are going to take a quick break and we will be right back.
I know you're busy, you got things to do, and you can't take us on the go with you every single day. Good news for you. We are now on Spotify. So if you can't watch us, now you can listen to us on Spotify. Search Fly Nubian Money and all the episodes shall appear. All you have to do is like, subscribe, leave a 5-star rating, leave some comments, tell people how you love us so that when other people come along and are looking for a great show to watch, they can find Fly Nubian Money too. One last thing, and just in case you've been sitting under a rock, Fly Nubian Money now has an investment club. We are the Fly Nubian Money Club. It's easy. All you have to do is go to flynubianmoneyclub.com, and I am committed to bringing in top experts from all industries to help you level up. They're teaching us the skills that we need to compete in this market. We often say that nobody is coming to save us, not the government, but guess what? We're coming to save us. I'm coming to save you with the Fly Nubian Money Club. So listen, all you have to do again is go to flynubianmoneyclub.com. We have a 30-day free trial set up just for you, just for those people that are struggling. Even if you ain't struggling, you ain't got to struggle. I'm coming. Okay, let me stop playing. I'll see you soon.
Listen, y'all know what to do. We don't want no struggles. We want you to be able to live and thrive. This is why we talk about things like this, because a lot of people that you talk to within your circles, if they don't have the open mind about this, they will try to discourage you. What we're trying to do here in this show is always to uplift, always keep your mind open, and always allow you to see that there are options for life so that you can live your best life. So, Nichole, you have lived abroad, and so have I. So one of the questions I want you to possibly address is, how can we stay connected to our roots while we're exploring globally? Because sometimes, you may not necessarily be in an area where there are others that look like you. The whole point is to get a whole diversity of things, which America's trying to ban, and we're trying to get all into it. So how do you stay connected? You're muted.
I don't think you ever leave who you truly are behind. You still have family at home. You're still going to want to talk to your family. You can't undo 40, 50 years of who you are. But I believe that if you, I don't know that I want to necessarily stay the same as I go. The whole point of going is to transform, is to become the best version of you, is to be able to know who you are. And like I said, you are who you are, but then the parts that aren't so desirable get to leave, and you learn new ways of doing things, new ways of thinking, new perspectives, and expand your horizons. So you'll still keep in contact with your family. There's all kind of resources. One of the ones that I think I put in the chat was the Black Expat mobile app. I've been on there for years. I noticed when November hit and they said, and the results are, like the next day, I think the app broke and they had to tell everybody, they had to tell us, wait a minute, you guys, it might be down for a little bit because we just got such an influx. So you'll have communities like that, places on YouTube, people that you can meet that can kind of keep you still grounded.
You're always going to find your people. I love Black in Portugal is one of my favorite groups to go to. They have locations from all over Portugal, in Lisbon, in Porto, Silver Coast, depending on where you want to live. And they get together and share experiences. They get together and do things, and then they go and explore abroad together to learn new things. So there are many, many, many ways that you can still connect to
well,
this.
Here's the thing too. They want to know about you. When you do get over there, they're like, well, we do it this way. Oh, I didn't know that you did it that way. So that's another way to stay connected and stay true.
It really is. It really is. Because don't forget, even America is a big old world unto itself. And what you do in the South don't know necessarily mean what they doing on the East or the West Coast. But, we glorify, or no, I'm not going to put my stigma on that one. I'm going to ask you, Marlo, do you think that we glorify struggle in our culture? Because we often hear, well, she worked 12, 15, 20 hours a day and she finally made it. Then she too tired to do anything. So do you think that we glorify the struggle in our culture?
America is the only country that doesn't prioritize rest. Like everybody, every other country you go to, in France, everybody takes a break at a certain time of day. In Spain, everybody goes on siesta, right? So the cafes, everything closes for 2-3 hours during the day. We have bought into, now when you talk about bamboozling and being led astray, we have bought into this culture of hustle, right? Oh, you sleep when you're dead, and sleep is just for the rich, or whatever stupid shit people be saying about not prioritizing resting yourself and just being on go constantly. Now that's the big lie that we bought into. That's also how we find ourselves in a housing crisis. It's how we find ourselves in a rent crisis. It's how we find ourselves in a grocery and a general finance crisis, is because the priority is more money. Well, if your priority as the little fish is more money, obviously the priority of the biggest fish is more money, and all of your money gets funneled to the big fish. So I think hustle culture is really what got us here, right? And what you find when you go abroad is that people do enjoy rest. There's some places in Europe on Sundays where they turn the Wi-Fi speed down because it is meant to encourage families to spend time together. So when I say check your Americanness, that's what I'm talking about. I'm talking about you are going to have to slow down if you go to these places, especially socially, to enjoy life, right? Nobody eats faster than an American. Most people leave their office and go have lunch. An American feels no shame in bringing the lunch to the desk. I do it every single day, right? So I think that that's really, hustle culture is what has us in a mindset. So you're going to have to be ready to change that hustle mind culture. You're going to have to get back into a mindset where stuff is not open 24 hours. Some things are not going to be open on Sundays and Mondays, right? And they're going to close early on Saturdays. But that's because the priorities are different and people are looking toward family and togetherness and extended family. So I think that's good for people. But you gonna it's a mindset. You could go over there thinking you escaping racism to go hustle, and then you may find a new frustration because they may not be moving necessarily the way that you move. So
Can I add one more thing?
Yeah.
It's not even just about family. I have a friend who is from Barcelona, Spain, and she just came back a couple days ago. The difference over there is self-care. Over here, we are modernized slaves. You go to work 40, 50, 60 hours a week, and so you are eating lunch at your desk so that you aren't dealing with family. That ain't just family, that's self-care. Our healthcare system, all of that here, once you go abroad and you see, oh, they really might take care of their people's health, or there's drugs over there that cure X, Y, and Z in Mexico that we don't have here. That's probably for me a bigger plus of going is it makes you slow down. It makes you really enjoy and live an abundant life and provide yourself with self-care.
It cracks me up. I call it nap time. People, when I'm in Portugal at 1:00 and that alarm go off because they do the siren. Woo! That means it's nap time, baby. You don't come back until 3:00. Then you may stay from 3 to 6, and then you go to dinner and have dinner for 3 hours with people. Okay, you don't sit and throw things down your throat. You sit down and you talk and you have conversations and you do things, and it's quality time for yourself and you and your family. Hey, nap time at 1:00. I'm all for that. When I'm in America and I don't hear that alarm, I put it on my watch because it's nap time, baby. Now, I do want to say this. We do have a couple of debates going on in our comments. Some of you are like, I'm staying in America. Okay. Nobody's saying you can't. Whether what you want to do is what you want to do, right? No one is bashing you for that. Say, Joe.
So have at it. That's what I say. You have at it. Go ahead. I ain't
That's not the point, right? We're not trying to argue with you about if you should go or not, right?
Mm-hmm.
You do you, boo. What we're doing is allowing people to possibly think outside of the box. And also we have someone saying, you shouldn't just go away and come back, or, you listen, you do whatever you want to do with your life. You know what? If you don't say, like, you moved to Portugal and all of a sudden a year later, you like, I don't like it. I'm gonna go somewhere else. So you go and try Italy. Who's stopping you? Nobody. So we're not here to debate you moving. If you want to move, that's what you're going to do. The problem is, I don't want you coming in our conversations trying to stifle other people from thinking outside of the box. Simple as that. And on that note, we're going to watch this next video and then we're going to take a breath.
Bro, why would I move back to America? My rent $700 a month, my water bill is $3 a month, and my electricity bill is $23 a month. I literally eat for $2. I literally use transportation. I don't have a car. Use transportation for $3, literally to go 30 minutes away somewhere, bro. Why would I move back to America? I don't have a car note. I don't have a high electricity bill. I don't have a high cell phone bill. My cell phone bill in Thailand is literally $10 a month. Bro, I'm financially free. I don't get depressed. I wake up every day. Oh my God, this is so beautiful. Like, I love my life in Thailand, bro, because I can finally, for once in my life, get a bang for my buck. For once in my life, I don't have to worry about, oh, I can't afford this. I can't afford this. So I got to wait till this check. I got to wait till that check. Like, finally, I'm happy, y'all. That's why I got this smiley face. Finally, why would I move back to America?
I ain't got no argument. I have no argument. I really don't.
Have any of y'all seen that movie, Where to Invade Next?
I have.
You
I
watched that?
haven't.
Okay, yeah, you gotta go watch that, man. I watched that about 10 plus years ago, and it really unlocked everything. I had no idea. I admit to my ignorance. I had no idea how people were living and existing in other countries until I saw that movie. And basically, it's a Michael Moore film, but he's going from country to country. Like some of the things that y'all are saying about the life we live here, like Italians, the kids and the adults go home for lunch, and they eat lunch together, home cooked meals, and spend time with each other. Then go on about the rest. Just all the things, the way that they do the prison systems in certain countries, all the things that they do all over the world that don't have that hustle culture attached to it. Months and months of paternity leave. Here what we get a couple of days of paternity, and if you're lucky, the woman gets a couple weeks, and then we back at it. You know what I mean? And then what is the daycare costing us? An arm and a leg. So it's just it's the whole capitalistic thing that we living under. It's just a lie. It's a facade. It's not real. So I just encourage everybody to go watch that movie. It's a Michael Moore movie called Where to Invade Next. It will unlock a lot of things for you, and you will be like, wow, people are actually relaxing in other parts of the world.
Thank you for that. I don't wrote it down. I'm put it on my list.
I hope y'all all wrote it down because I've seen it. I love it. Listen, Doc Robinson says, I was the diehard Chicagoan who never thought I'd move anywhere else until I visited the continent for the first time in 2019. And with that, we'll be right back. We're going to take a short break.
Are you a Black business owner looking to expand your reach? Well, has Fly Nubian Money got good news for you? We are building a Black business directory to connect you with customers who need your services. And here is the best part. It is absolutely free. Email us at info@realvirtual.net. Send us your business name. Tell us a little bit about what you do, what services you offer, your website address, and your contact information. That's it. Together, we are going to build and circulate the Black dollar. Get listed today and start connecting with people who are probably already looking for you.
They looking. You have your assignment. Go ahead and get your business in there. This directory is growing and people are looking for you. So listen, I have to hit you again. I don't know, Joe, if this person is trying to drive me crazy or not, but I'm going to at least say his comment. Mr. Joe Visual, once again, I don't know if you're a troll or if you're just trying to come in here and be discorded and here, I don't even know what I want to call you, but lowering your standards to be financially free, that's the part of the problem. Bro, where are you coming from? Nichole, I want to hear your comments on that.
I'm like, what? How is that lowering your standards to leave, especially if you don't know what's on the other side? Because there's I love traveling, And there's a lot of places on the other side that are nicer. There are places that are very comparable to what you have that don't cost what you have. And one other thing, the video that we saw a second ago about the guy talking about him not coming back, I don't blame you, because at least you're not treated as a criminal. I think for me, one of the hardest parts, we started out talking about homelessness. I never thought I would see the day where it was a crime to be homeless, but it is. In many places, including where I live, they will lock you up for being homeless. There was one lady that was here not too long ago that was pregnant. She was sitting on the side of the road about to give birth, had nowhere to go on a cardboard box. And they came to lock her up, and only to realize she was telling the truth. She was in labor and had nowhere to go. She said, y'all towed away my van that I tried to live in because you said I was parked there too long. So now I'm under the viaduct and then I'm a criminal. So I think for Mr. Joe, I hope that it is not, that you're trolling. Maybe he's playing devil's advocate, but it's not lowering your standards. Many times you find when you go abroad, it's so much better.
Agree. And he also said that he owns somewhere else too as well. That's why I'm not understanding you, but you also are telling me that you're not trying to perturb me, sir. I get it. But listen, Marlo, we're talking about living abroad. We're talking about the affordability. I want to bring it back a little bit to America. For those who don't want to move abroad or don't have a desire to, there's nothing wrong with that. We still are facing a massive homelessness thing that is going on in America. More people are living on the streets everywhere. So there are always talks of different type of homes being built, but I've never really seen them work. So one of the things is tiny homes. So are you seeing in your area, or have you reported on tiny homes, container homes, or co-living spaces that people should be embracing, or should they be embracing them in our community?
I mean, I think that people should embrace whatever is comfort for them, right? And people should embrace what is right for them if it doesn't harm the next person. That's how I'm gonna feel about everything that's opinion based. But I know right now there's a tiny home village that they're building to help women as they transition out of foster care, right? So it's a kind of a private industry thing, and it's very specific and set aside for them. But I think if it works for you, obviously, if you got 4 kids, a tiny home is not your thing. But I think that if it works for you, if it fits you aesthetically, if it fits your comfort needs, you should do whatever you need to do. I think part of being an American is, even though we always say, oh, don't worry about the Joneses, Americans be worried about the Joneses, right? We are worried about the neighbors. If the neighbors level up their car, if the neighbors say they getting a vacation home, if the neighbors say they going on vacation, right? We are your cousin, your sister, the people on social media that you never met in real life. Like, we are always consumed with what other people are doing, and oftentimes making decisions for our life based off what other people are doing. So I think everything that I've seen about tiny homes and alternative living spaces, people have converted water towers and airport hangars, and even I've seen planes converted into homes. If it works for you, it works for you. If you're not breaking code and you're not going to put a whole bunch of money into something, the government going to come and tear it down and say aesthetically it doesn't fit, whatever, blah, blah, blah. Do your thing. Like, I am about people being happy, and however you find happiness, that's your path to freedom. Do what you wanna, as long as you're not hurting the next person, is really my philosophy. Because in this day and age, the corporation's gonna do what they want, right? They're gonna meet their bottom line regardless. So you got to figure out what your strategy is to play the game.
Y'all know what my saying is: if you can't help, surely don't hurt. Everybody has their own path, and that is to me a golden rule. If you can't help somebody, then surely don't hurt them just because they choose to take a certain path. Listen, Taya says once you start to travel, you realize the world has more to offer and explore on the other side. Yes, you do. So Joe, I do want to take this back to our mental. So with all this said, with the homelessness and with all these so-called options, because baby, I done saw so many so-called options in California. Ain't none of them come to fruition. The money always ends up in somebody else's pocket and not the people that really need it. What kind of mental toll does financial instability and housing insecurity take on to our Black community, the Black women and men? What, how does this affect their mental?
Imagine living a life where you never feel safe or secure. How is that? How do you think that feels? You know what I mean? So there's a large population, a good amount of us that live that way, even if we are doing well, even if we are, in a home and not homeless. It's never feeling like enough, or the only thing they tell you that has value is in this country is ownership and money and financial status, not even stability. Like we don't even know if we don't really even value stability. It's got to be status. You know what I mean? So constantly feeling like, even people who are rich, you look at them, they still don't feel like it's enough. When is it enough? It's never enough, because that's the mental toll that it's ingrained on us. So and that's sad. That's really sad. Like I'm saying, like it's really tough. Like you think about, well, I gotta have this house, and if I get this house, I gotta have my credit right. So that's one of the things people are stressed out about. But we gotta get our credit right so we can get this house. And you get this house, and you put this loan on it, and saying a loan is for $300,000, you pay $600,000 for that loan. What have you done to yourself?
Put more stress upon yourself, which also does not just affect us financially, it affects us mentally, spiritually, whole bodily.
Yes, I'm going to spend majority of my life owing someone. We spend most of these 30 years of these 30. I mean, I'm just listen. It is what it is. You got to do what you got to do in this world. I understand that, but I want you to really internalize and grasp the reality of what I just said. You're spending 30 years out of your life owing someone and stressing about paying them. And if you don't pay them, you can spend 25 years of your life paying them. If you don't pay them in that 26th year, they take your stuff. That's what
you don't get none of that back.
So you talking to me about the fear about moving abroad and not experiencing that or living that life, versus sitting here and stressing the majority of my life over paying for something that I may never own. Come on, man. Let's be real. Let's talk for real.
And I think that's what I love about us. We are talking real here, because the reality is America is past ticking time bomb. It's actually in final countdown. The way that the world is going is definitely a them versus us. That's not a fear tactic. This is pretty much playing out in front of us. And Joe is saying that he's just a realist. Okay, you are a realist, Joe, but if you also have, not our Joe, but if you also have a home in another country, you surely, to me, would seem like you understand a little bit more of what we're talking about. No one said living abroad is perfect. It brings many struggles. It brings many challenges, but those challenges can be rewarding. It's all about your mindset. If you go over anticipating problems and not trying to help yourself get through them, then that's going to be a problem. But if you go over with an open mind and learn new things, that's a totally different mindset right there. And that's what needs to change. Go ahead, Joe.
I was going to say, I'll accept what anybody has to say if you're coming from a lived experience. So, Mr. Joe, if you have lived in every country in the world and experienced every country in the world's culture, and then you're speaking from that perspective, then by all means, man, talk to your heart's end. But if you're just coming from a place of your own personal lived experience and your own fears, then, all you really need to be doing is asking questions and listening. It is trolling, you know what I mean? Because if you're not talking from a place of experience and knowledge, then it is trolling, brother. I mean, that's just what it is.
I have to agree with that. But listen, I got one more video that I want y'all to check on, because I want y'all to really start thinking if this is something for you. So let's check this out.
I think something that really surprises people about my situation of being an American living abroad is that I'm living abroad with a lot of debt. Hi, if you're new here, my name's Kara. I'm the digital nomad mom, and me and my family sold everything that we had to travel the world full time, and we're currently living in Greece as digital nomads. So I think when people think of digital nomads, I think of people who own their own businesses, they're freelancers, maybe they work in the tech industry, and they're able to live abroad because they have some sort of asset like a home that they rent, or they've also been able to sell their home. Well, I'm not like that. I'm a broke ass millennial, you guys, living abroad in Greece. This is my home, and this is my view. One of the things I hear from a lot of people that stops them from wanting to live abroad and travel abroad is that they have a lot of debt. But here's the thing, that once you get abroad, things are a lot more inexpensive. Now, that really depends on where you're going to be. More countries are less expensive than others. But for the most part, because the inflation in the United States is so bad and the cost of living has really just gone insane, when you live abroad, you are going to save money. Now, for us, getting out of debt has been really tough. And the reason for that is because my husband used to work a really labor-intensive job. He was a restaurant manager, so he doesn't have any remote work experience. So for us to be able to live this lifestyle, he had to step away from his job and become a stay-at-home dad. So we are now down to one income. But here's the thing, because I've been able to offset the cost of living by living in a place like Greece or places like Albania, for example, where the cost of living is so much lower than the United States, we can afford to live on one income in addition to continue to pay down our debt. So while I don't necessarily spend less because I am still paying off our debts, I'm able to live a more comfortable lifestyle. So we can still go out to eat. We can still have, little things that make us happy that we were having to sacrifice in the States. My husband doesn't have to work because I am still able to make enough for us to be comfortable and also pay down our debt. I wanted to make this video because I think
I love that. And it is easier because to me, quality of life is worth gold. It's priceless. Why are you here if you can't live your life and say that I have rode this roller coaster of life and I screamed having fun doing it, instead of saying I wisha, coulda, woulda, shoulda. And with that, I am going to ask everyone's final thoughts. I hope that we have discussed some things that have piqued your interest, because that's what we are about here at Fly Nubian Money, is to help you maximize your life and your money and your spirit and your body and your mind, everything. We want you to have the best life possible. So I'm going to start with you, Marlo. Can I please have your final thoughts and where we can find you?
So my final thought is do what's best for you. I had the benefit of having a dad who was in the military. So as a young child, I traveled all over Europe. We lived in Germany for 4 years, and my parents made the best of that experience. There wasn't a field trip, an outing, a Volksmarch, a market, a fair that we didn't go to so that we could immerse ourselves in that culture, learn about the people that lived there. We ate the food. So it is a full experience to live abroad. If you have children, you have to consider that. You have to consider work. You have to consider your partner, right? Are you going to leave a relationship to move abroad, or is your partner going to come with you, and how are y'all going to survive? There are going to have to be things that you have to negotiate and navigate before you make the decision. If it's not just you, if it's just you, going abroad and live your life, have fun. I want that for everybody. But I also want people to consider culture, consider where you're going, and consider how to be in Rome as the Romans are, right? Don't try to be as a Floridian in Panama, right? Figure out what's best for you. Do what's best for you. Do not succumb to the American pressure of looking over your shoulder and seeing what your neighbor is doing. Don't succumb to that. You don't have to. And that is a fool's errand. Live your life, run your race, and figure out how you can grow. If you are looking to level up your business in terms of your searchability and people's ability to find you on the web if they don't know your exact website, you should contact the Marlo Group. That is what we do. We help businesses understand their industry keywords and the jargon and the language and the things that regular everyday folks are putting into a Google search query and coming out with, and that's how people land on websites. If you want that help, if you need that help, contact the Marlo Group to set up a consultation. Also, I am about 6 weeks out from my competition. So forgive me if my brain seems foggy in the next couple of weeks, if I can't remember what I'm saying, if I get lost in mid-thought, because my diet is about to change extremely so that I can trim this body down and get ready to wear a piece of material that is smaller than what Nichole has holding her ponytail together. Happy Friday, y'all.
Listen, y'all,
Joe.
we are so proud of her. She's
Joe.
looking good. She got the shoulders out today. Marlo, you are so funny, but we are so proud of you. We've been following your journey, and we are so appreciative for allowing you to let us follow your journey and help also uplift and let other people see that they can do it too. We're so proud of you. Please make sure that you go and check out Marlo Stock and Chicken Hawk. You know what I say, because she got things to show you today. All right. Okay, Joe, what is your final thoughts and where can we find you?
Yeah, I'm just saying, Millie, everybody can't go. I'm going, and you do what you want to do. As a therapist, that's really my role, is to help you get over your fears, and the doubts and the illogical thoughts that you have in your brain and live your most authentic self. And that's what I'm doing. And so whatever's good, like Marlo said, whatever's good for you, go ahead and do that. Haters and cheerleaders all sound the same. I mean, they all have value as long as what they're saying is rooted in the truth. And America has been pissing on my head and telling me it's raining for far too long. Or actually pissing on my head and telling me I'm taking a shower. That's even worse than it's raining. So yeah, no, I'm good. I'm out. And listen, I really want all y'all to go to my YouTube page and follow Vulnerability is the New Sexy, because we having real conversations on there. And now it's gotten to a place where once a month, you know what I mean, we're going to be talking about with 4 therapists. And also, Sacred Conversations is coming up on the 28th and the 30th of this month. Don't check me on those dates. 23rd and the 30th of this month. I want y'all to go register. We're actually giving out real life tools. And me and Felice are giving out real life tools about how to communicate and get along. Black men and women are in a state of emergency where we are turning on each other, and we need to have conversations, and we need to learn skills that advance us, and we need to learn how to talk to each other. So these are actually real life tools, especially if you're in a relationship with a person. You can pick up on a lot of things. And so yeah, go to that landing page, read what we're doing, and decide if it's something for you that you want to do for yourself. All right.
Let me tell you something. Since Joe has joined us, I have seen him grow and thrive, and he is doing the thing. He's got podcasts, he's got YouTube shows, he's got everything for you. And I'm telling you, I want y'all to uplift him, because we do not have a lot of Black men in his roles. And I'm going to tell you, he is living in his purpose of helping others, and he means it from the depths of his heart. Make sure you follow and do everything that he has told you to do. That is your homework. But don't you miss out, and don't you sleep on Joe, because you know what? He's going to help uplift you in the mental and the heart. Okay, Nichole, it's your turn, my darling. What's your final thoughts, and where can we find you?
Well, speaking of homework, on Monday, I told you your homework was to go and visualize what it is you really want in life. What do you really authentically want to be doing? What is going to build up your soul? So just like I told you on Monday, I'm going to end it on Friday with live your life for you. Be bold about it. I want the takeaways for everyone that's joined us today to be this. When you know better, you do better. And it may be that you explore overseas, or you look into it and you say, you know what, that's not for me, or it's not right now. But what we want you to know is that it is a possibility, that you don't have to be rich to be able to live abroad, and that there are people that are living abroad right now who are enjoying it, who look like you. And there's people who don't look like you who are enjoying it, and they've been enjoying it, and they've been getting all the benefits while convincing you that you can't, or that it doesn't exist. So really examine who you are, what you want, what your core values, your needs are, your risk tolerance, and if you do move abroad, what you're going to do for money. And then that's kind of where I come in. My job as an attorney, as a certified tax advisor, and as a business consultant and trainer is to show you how to find what that business is for you that can make you money, but also liberate you, that can give you the freedom that you can live abroad if you want to or not, that you can travel or not, that you can do the big things in your community, which is my community that blesses everyone. And so if you want to connect with me, I'm on social media, even though I've gotten married and in Shelton now, and everything's still under Nichole Compton. So NicholeCompton.com. Or if you want to join private community that I just started, you can go to destinysoul.com. And I love to have you. But if you're going to hang with me, no, we're going to make some big money moves. We're going to maximize some profit, and we're going to diminish and eliminate taxes and debt and decrease expenses for your business, because I believe we're going to do it well. Going to do it big, y'all.
I was muted, dang it. And what I was going to say is, listen, she's going to teach you what the other side been doing for years. Ain't no reason you can't tap into that. So you do what you need to do and make sure you stalk and chicken out and you go to all of her website, because you do not have to be left behind. They just have led you to believe that you can't, but we know that you can, and she's going to help level you up. And that brings you to me, because Nichole going to help you with that part. But I am going to help you actually put it in action, baby. Listen, here's my final thought. There's a whole big world out here. You do not have to be stuck. So maybe you may not want to live abroad right now. Maybe you just want to go explore. Maybe that's your first step. If you want to get out there and see what the world looks like, go do it. Nobody is stopping you. It's not as expensive as people say that it is. It is not. And because of that, I'm helping to educate people on how to do that, what that looks like for you. I have a newsletter that talks to you directly about moving to Portugal, what it's like, the different cities, not just the big towns and the travels and the expat places, but the small places, what visas look like, what's the cost of living, what do you need to do to get yourself in a better place. So all you have to do is go to my website. Go ahead, sign up for that newsletter, because I have a course in just a few weeks that is going to go deeply into this. So go sign up for the newsletter so that you can be announced on when that is coming in just a few weeks at www.laurakey.net. Baby, it's a big world out here for you. Listen, as Black people in America, we've always had to build from brokenness, right? I don't know why that hit me in my heart so hard. That just brought me to tears. But sometimes the answer isn't just building better, it's building differently. Whether it's considering new lands, new mindsets, or new models for housing and healing, we owe it to ourselves to think bigger. Homelessness doesn't have to be our story and struggle. It doesn't have to be our legacy. So I want to thank you right now for just having the conversation that you had with us today on Fly Nubian Money, because we want you to keep dreaming. We want you to keep creating, and we want you to keep continuing to choose freedom, because it is there for you. So we ended on a very positive note this Friday. I hope that we have really planted a seed in your heart that is going to bloom in your life. We're here Monday through Friday, 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We hope that you enjoyed your time with us this week. We love you. We love you. We love you. Be blessed and have a good weekend. Peace out.